So the government strategy to defeat the general strike was an all-encompassing set of approaches which were formidable in their reach, really. We're talking about a government who had many months to prepare, and they immediately jumped to set up civil contingency commissioners in different parts of the country, centrally organised, that attempted to identify and fortify certain areas of industry, the mines, the docks, the power stations, and so on. They operated to recruit hundreds of thousands, between 350,000 and 500,000, we're not sure exactly, volunteers, people who were prepared to strike break. Many of these were middle-class people, traders, shopkeepers, and so on. Some of them were organised fascist organisations prepared to attempt to take over jobs of workers who were engaged in the delivery and production of essential goods and so on. In addition, the government utilised its own newspaper, the British Gazette, which was distributed through non-union means right across the country to tell the story about the strike from the government's point of view, denigrating the strike as being an affront to democracy, that it was threatening constitutional government, that it was aiming to bring down the government, and so on. So they attempted to win the propaganda war. They mobilised the police. Hundreds of people were recruited as special constables. Police were dispatched to all the main industrial areas in an attempt to undermine effective picketing. All of the armed forces were engaged, and a massive military mobilisation, with troops stationed in all the major mining areas, all the major cities and urban areas where strikers were involved. Warships were dispatched right across all the ports and the docks of Britain, in London, in Liverpool, in Bristol, and so on. And every attempt was made to try to undermine the strike in one way or another. And as I mentioned, this is not some sort of neutral government or neutral state which is being involved. It's an all-encompassing attack. And I think the only comparable sort of exercise that we've ever seen, at least in the 20th century, was that occurred in the 1984-5 miners' strike. But this was on a much broader, much larger level. It was probably the most significant and widest state-directed form of strike-breaking operation, counter-mobilisation, that Britain's ever witnessed.